It's a little difficult to read here. I mean, it'll display on the stream itself, which is nice, but looking for a way in which I can have it here. So for that, straight up way is I can just take this here and bring it here, so then I can keep seeing it. But this Chrome window is too much of an obstruction for me while I'm working on things. How do we go about doing this? I can still have it here. Oh. And I have to do it always on top for me to see it. Anyway, I'll just do one thing is I'll add a few, what do you say, filters on this. First thing is I need to crop this thing. If you want to see the process, I'll bring this screen here so you can also see it. It gets very confusing very fast when I'm trying to do like OBS related things, because I am not sure what is going on the screen right now, and this is a live stream. So anyway, this chat selected, I'm going to come into filters here, and let me see if this crop, okay, and I don't need that thing on the top, sorry, not left. I'm gonna go top until we get rid of the URL and stuff. Even this is not needed. As a matter of fact, even top chat is not needed. Okay, I think that's, I'll settle at 125. Yeah, I love how intuitive OBS Studio is to use. It's beautiful. And once that is done, I don't really want it to be, wait, what's up with this thing? Welcome to live chat. Remember, how can I take this off? No, it won't go off. I also quite don't know where it will like land. So I'll just put it here. Also, why is it above my bars? Nothing stays above my bars. Maybe I can make it smaller this way. Do we need like a something around it? I don't know. And I will keep this also on the side just so I can see it myself. Okay, I think we're good to go. आधा तेरा इश्क आधा मेरा ऐसे हो पूरा चंद्रमा तारा तेरा एक तारा मेरा बाकी अंधेरा आसमां न तेरे संग लागे, बांधे जो पीपल पे धागे, के सुर में के धागे, रहते हैं नजरे बचा के, बदरंग में सतरंगा है ये इश्क रे, जोगी मैं और गंगा है ये इश्क रे, बदरंग में सतरंगा है ये इश्क रे, जोगी मैं और गंगा है इश्क रे। I think I don't really need does OBS still recognize the chat? Just 1 second, I will just check if OBS is still sorry, properties. It's gonna be just one pop out. There are 2 pop-outs now, which is problematic, I guess. There's 1 pop-out okay, and it's still working. So there's 1 pop-out which I'm gonna keep here. I think we're good to go. I'm wasting too much time now. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning. Welcome back to inthekhud. I remember yesterday the time was 11:11. Today it's 11:15. It keeps getting late every single day. So what are we doing in today's live stream? I am continuing with the isometric scene project inside Blender, because there's nothing else that I have to document. In terms of, I didn't really do anything yesterday in terms of DaVinci Resolve or After Effects. So yeah. Let's see where we can go. No, oh, bars has gotten a bit moved. Okay, we're good now. Now that we are in our Blender interface, I don't want it to hide my timeline. Put it like here. I'm just a precision freak, that's all. Yeah, we're good to go. Yes, we are. So, opening up the project. In today's session, one thing that I wanted to really focus on is modeling is fine when it's very basic modeling, low poly almost. But the thing that I'm really not vibing with right now is the lighting, right? So I'm gonna not use the HDRI and try building the lighting like this lighting from scratch, and that shouldn't be so difficult. But one thing that I'm straight up realizing right now is that we need a floor. Okay, we don't really have a floor, and that floor has to be a roughness 0 material, almost 0, or it's like 0.3 or 4 something, so that it shines like it is shining right now. So Shift C to bring cursor to the world origin, and inside my objects collection I'm gonna add a plane. I'm gonna scale this up. So you can scale it up all the way because I'm trying to look at the reference and my camera at the same time. So I haven't renamed the objects, which is very unlikely to my workflow. Like usually when I'm working with things, I like go about renaming things as they happen, because it gets very confusing very fast. But here I haven't really done that. Anyway, here we are. I am gonna take this and rename it ground, which is good. I'm gonna add a new material to this. I'm gonna call this material ground, and we're gonna make it a little gray, and the real magic is gonna happen when I take the roughness down. Okay, something a little bit of roughness we need, and we can try increasing the metallic, not at 1, but like somewhere here. Okay. Everything will change once I change the lighting. So let me just come into my world properties and remove the HDRI at the moment. So now there's going to be nothing. And the color, I think by default it's at what color? Let me go into my sharing tab. It's like this, like there's no these nodes here, so it's gonna be dark. And what I can also do is I can remove this background, or it'll be completely dark. I can start doing it that way, or let me keep the strength at 0. So right now nothing in the scene is lit, which is like a good starting point for us to come somewhere near to this kind of like a studio lighting effect. Of course we should look at some tutorials on how to achieve this kind of studio effect, but before that we're gonna give it our own little try. Okay, so light. Is the title of this stream something related to lighting? No, it's okay. I did not even plan it to be lighting related. That's perfect. Alright, we're good. Okay, sorry for the little detour. I'm getting back on track. Right, the light. How do we go about approaching this? I have no idea. Like I haven't studied this as much as the other things, and this is something I really wanted to get good at, is lighting inside of Blender. Firstly, there are some distracting elements in my view here, and whom like bring it here. We'll have to start somewhere. Our camera is here, we're looking at this direction, so if I look at my reference, there is, how do we do this? Let's look at some basic lighting, like ambient lights first. So Shift A, light, area light, and let's say if I take this up like this, okay, kind of like a ceiling situation. Now this is very less, so let me go into my light properties, and 100, let's start with 100 or 1000. Okay, good enough. Now importantly, it's a little too sharp. Like we don't need it so sharp, we need like a softer lighting everywhere. So I can increase the size here to somewhere where it's not like, if I go here it's gonna start to get dull, but I'm gonna increase the size such that it's still retaining that kind of a soft look. Yeah, also you see like the entire light coming on the plane here. So I think if you disable cast shadow or multiple importance, one of these things should make it such that you don't see it on the ground. Oh wait, what was it? It should be in the light properties itself. Preview. Should do it this way, or here you disable something inside render. Anyway, I'll try fixing that later. So we are here where we've gotten one light, and I think what we will need is a few more of these, right? So if I Alt D instead of Shift D, that's going to be important, because then I can change the lighting of one and it will affect everything else. So let's say I bring one here. You don't have to be so geometric, I'm just trying to like figure my way out as I'm going. I'm seeing this kind of a light here, like a pattern here. So if I take these and bring it behind, that should help, and I can just scale these instances until we are like filling up everything behind. And this, I think I could scale it up in the Y, so we get rid of the mark on the plane completely. So thus far we've gone from nothing to here, And yeah, now I see that the plane is a little too reflective, plane material. So if I decrease the metallic, now a little bit of metallic it has more like a frosted look to it, so roughness would be a little more, and so would be metallic. Let's see, it's almost like blurred out, so I'm trying to fiddle with it to the point that matches this. And seems like there is a texture, it's not just a plain color of sorts. That's okay, we'll figure that as we go. Okay, now that is that, and I think instead of just these area lights, what I also need is, let me see, I need a spotlight which would act like the key light, because right now what we're doing is we're just filling the area up like ambient. That can be your fill lights, but I need like a light which, if I look at my reference, if there was a spotlight in the scene, it is likely to be coming from this direction. Like you see over here there are inside lights, but you see here there is light falling, here there is light falling and stuff, but this direction is where I'm thinking that my spotlight should be somewhere. Okay, so GZ, I'm going to bring the spotlight up, we're going to rotate this in X, bring it here, and bring this behind, because this is where, oh no, sorry, wait, this is my camera view, so the spotlight has to be here. And it is at a very low intensity at the moment, so at least 500. If you to see the effect of this, if I shut this spotlight, I think it should be more like here, kind of at an angle. So for that we take this up and we rotate it in the X, so it's pointing down a little more. Let me do 10,000. Yeah, now things are happening, and the radius is at 0, which is what is making it so sharp. So if I take the radius up, no, because the spotlight is supposed to be like this. Maximum bounce is 1024. Cast shadow. Okay, we can disable this because we don't really need a shadow. Even if there is a shadow, we have other lights which are gonna fill it. We do need that little natural light shadow situation. The stream is at 1927. I'm gonna try and stick to like 30-35 minutes for this one. It gets too late all the time. Now the reason we made instances instead of duplicates is if I come in here and make it 500, all three will go down simultaneously. I don't think we need 500, 800 or 900. I think that's good enough. Also, I noticed that this chat I have not placed on scene 3. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so this I don't know, I'll have to go back and see how it was with the HDRI and how it is with these area lights and the spotlight, but it seems better to me. How about I take this and put this right behind the camera? Would that look better? So one easy way could be cursor to selected and then selection to cursor. Okay, interesting. From here to here, and we rotate it in Y, and we rotate it in X. It'll be easier if I just add an attract to constraint, but something like this. Now if I turn it on and off, it's really adding that like key light situation to it. And these are obviously doing things for me in the background. This is area 002, which is this one. Okay, I still don't get like a look here. It feels like this here, maybe again I have to ponder upon the material once. Like if I take the brightness of the material down, it's really not what it is about. The brightness of the material is not the problem. The saturation is at 1. So is it the hue which is the problem? Like if I play with the hue a little bit, I'm getting somewhere now. So the hue, if I hold down shift down, I feel it's a little more towards red. And now the saturation can be a little less. It is pretty saturated actually. I can play with the value. Now it feels a little too red to me. This is gonna happen, like it's gonna be a little difficult to find a sweet spot. Let's say we settle with this. One other thing I'm noticing is that this material is a little reflective in our reference, so we're getting a bit of a reflection of the chimney here. So let's pause the lighting situation here for the moment, and we're not using any. From nothing we have gone to this kind of lighting. Of course we can do a lot more improvements to this, but let's stick with this for the moment and we'll see if we can get any better. There is this situation here which had to be black, so this owing to this pavement. So we're gonna make a new one. We're gonna first rename this pavement, and a new material, call that also pavement, and this is basically just black material and a rough material. Now that I'm giving it color, I'm thinking that the tiles are maybe a little too thin. Oh, we don't have a solid, if we do, so we can increase the thickness just a bit. That's why I love working with modifiers. You can always come in and tweak things which you can't with if you like modeling destructively. Okay, let's settle for that. I'm gonna try and work on this cone situation, which is where I had left yesterday's stream. So I'm gonna come to the edit mode with all this selected, shift S cursor to selected. Okay, and we're gonna add shift A mesh cone. If you're not seeing all these extra options here, which I think cone should be in primitives itself, but these other ones, these ones, single word, round cube, they come from a Blender add-on. It's a built-in Blender add-on called extra, add extra objects, add curve, add mesh, extra objects. Is enable these in case you don't see anything. So shift A mesh and cone. Now this, the way this is, it's very flat, so let me take the vertices down to something like this, 5. So 1 2 3 4, I think it's 4. Is it 4? 1 2 3 4. I have a tough time imagining things in perspective, but anyway, let's say that is the case, and I take the depth down and the radius is too much. आधा तेरा इश्क आधा मेरा aise ho pura. You make it nothing, then you see that hollowness from the bottom. Chandrama ho tara tera ek tara mera baki andhera asma. It's rotated a little to this way, but that is something I can take care of later, because if I rotate it now, this panel will go away which is a thing with blenders, like it just goes away. So I want to make sure that I get the shape right first here. Na tere sang lage baandhe jo peepal ke dhage. Oh, you can even play with the location. Okay, nice. Kisur mein ke dhage rehte. Also, don't do undo here, because if you do undo, it will go away. These are things I've learned the hard way. I'm going to rotate it in Z until we get here. Now again, one thing I'm noticing is that it is a little too bigger. See, if I look at this part, actually you can remove all of this. If I look at this part and then I look at the base of the cone, it's just a little bigger. Right now it's too big. So, oh my god, I messed up. There was a way where you could get the previous operation. Where was it? Window. Edit. Adjust last operation. Yeah. Okay, that's a good tip. Oh, what? It just goes away. F9. And then here, the depth, I think, is the depth a thing? No, it's not the depth, it's the radius, which I needed to be a little. Yeah, but then once you have lost it, it will keep going away. Blender, just keep it for me, please. Now that we have gotten this right, I think the depth can also be decreased a little. Oh, one thing I completely have not taken into consideration is the fact that it has to be above. It has to be here. Okay, now this should clear some things up, and if I increase the depth now, okay, it doesn't have to be like 100% perfect to the reference, because that's the point of a reference, it's a reference. But we're trying to get it as close as possible. So this, my god, I'm going to rotate it such that this is almost in line with this part, and I still feel that the radius is a little much. There's a radius 2 as well. Oh yeah, actually there is some radius 2 as well. We can fill that later, that's not a problem. So, but then this opens up a hole here. That's okay, we can fill it later. It's not so much though, it's a little lesser. Come like this, and one final look at it, and we'll call it off as done. It seems like it's good to go, but again, if you want to like make changes later, we can always do that. So I'm going to go to edit mode and firstly fill this. Now I can't go to F9. It's gone. It's gone. We're stuck with this almost. It's not a problem. This is more like a, I don't know, is this white cone? This is kind of white. This has a chimney material to it. There has to be an add-on which allows you to rename something and at the same time it renames the material the same name. I think that's for me to make. Python chimney. Okay, by the way, this stream I have to just assume that the audio and everything is correct. There aren't no concurrent viewers, so can't really get a confirmation or conformation. How are you using it, as a noun or a verb? Using it as a noun. I'm not firming something, I'm conforming. I'm looking for a conformation. Should be conformation. The chimney material is basically metallic. Nothing's so easy ever and has less roughness. Yeah, that was the easiest material to figure. And I think looking at it from here, looks fine only to me. Okay, let's go in here, and there is some kind of strap situation connecting it to the chimney. How do we make that strap contraption? Could be multiple ways of doing it. Like, let's do a curve method where I'm going to select this, and if you want to go into the edit mode, this is a good tip actually. If you want to go to the edit mode of this object while you're in the edit mode of this object, you can do Alt Q while hovering over this. So this vertex, I'm going to shift as cursor to select it. Okay, now going back into this, I select this and E, I'm going to leave it in the place where it is, and then shift as selection to cursor. That's going to join it here. Okay, now cursor to selected, and again here E, leave it in place, and selection to cursor. This is not the definitive way of doing it. There can be multiple ways of doing modeling. This is what is coming to the mind right now. So cursor to selected, Alt Q, wait, first E, leave it in place, selection to cursor, and then last one, cursor to selected, Alt Q, selection to, wait, cursor to selected, E, leave it in place, selection to cursor. Now what I want to do is okay, just give me 1 minute. So with edge select, let me select these edges, and we want to make it separate. So P selection. Now this is a separate object. Let me just make origin to geometry. I don't think it should be that much of a problem, but once we've done that, we can do right click, convert to curve. So now this is a curve, and the reason I did that is because once you have a curve, then you have an option to add geometry to it. So round depth, oh my god, something like that, and I'm just going to fill gaps. So if you look very closely, it's like a little weird, but stretch. Do we have a profile where I can like pinch it? Oh, that's really it. There is a profile option here. Increase the resolution to 12. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to stay. I want to make kind of a curve where it pinches here. It's not going to be visible from our camera view anyway, but it's worth learning. Man, I'm really in awe when CG Matter just does these things and like he knows what he's doing. Wait, how can you reset this? Simple straight edges. I'm sure there must be presets. Steps. Presets are good to start. Support loops. In this case, they aren't really helping me. Wait, can you keyframe this? Oh, wait, one thing I'm understanding now is that this is affecting the face. So this is making like a dentastics situation. If I take this here, and if I take this up, that's not what we want. So let me reset curve. If I take this down to here, and this here, and this here, we kind of get that pinching thing, but not really. Okay, let's not go that route. Reset curve. Round. Go kind of here, that's alright, I think. And in my... I can give it the chimney material itself. From afar it won't look like it's a problem. It's not visible either. What I can do though is I can take this and S Shift Z and just cover it up kind of like this, so it's not, I think, a little more. Hold down Shift for precise controls. And the good thing is, since this is a curve, I can still come in here and with all of these selected, I can take a G, Z up until it's kind of like this, and then nobody can come inside and see it for obvious reasons. So I think that takes care of that. I don't think it does. Okay, where are we now? We are at 38 minutes. Let's go till 45 and wrap this. If I look at the overall structure in terms of modeling, we have this grass situation here. Let's try and make that first. So objects, that is, interestingly, that is after this, so it is here, but then that will get too close to the edge, so that is an indication that it's an array modifier here. So I can take my array count down to like 25. I think that'll be a little too less, so 28. Yeah, right. And here let me bring the cursor here, and with 3D cursor, SY, and we still have edge snapping on, so something like this. It's gonna be like falling over, so SY snap here and then SY shifted a little ahead. That's nice. And now I'm gonna go into edit mode, and yeah, this is good. Cursor is selected. We're gonna add another for the grass part, right? Let me clear this. Now we're trying to work on the grass bed. I don't know what you call it. Grass bed kind of part. Shift A mesh cube. ना तेरे संग लागे बांधे जो पीपल पे धागे के सुर में नजरे बचा के बदरंग में सतरंगा है इश्क रे. We're trying to keep it on the floor. जोगी में और गंगा है इश्क. Keep looking at your camera view as you do things. I'm gonna go to median point and scale it in the X, and this more or less covers the whole thing, so I'm gonna snap it here. Yes, that's good. And actually it doesn't. See, there is this table here towards the end, but then there is a continuation here. Maybe the table is no, but see, it is going all the way in here as well. Okay, to make this kind of a thing, right? Let me see. What would be the easiest way? Subdiv, if I do, it will do something like that. So let me just do Control 2. Okay, I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna add 2 loop cuts, and then we're gonna scale it in the X until we get something like that. And I can shade this smooth. I think what I also need is these loop cuts here, and then scale them in the Z. This is one way, is kind of making this structure, but let me not do that. I think we can have subdiv after the fact, but I'm trying to get this profile like this, which with loop cuts it is possible gets a little destructive. So I'm gonna add a bevel for that, and we're gonna put it to the limit method at weight. So now we come into edit mode, and with edge select, repeat this and this. We're gonna put the mean bevel weight for the edges at 1. Okay, so you get something like that, and amount to be lesser. Wait, is the scale not applied? Control A, all transforms to deltas, and now this something like this, and then curve it here. What if we give these as well some, just taking it down there. Thing is, it's more like a spherical profile on the side, from here at least. So bevel is kind of giving us more or less the same output. न तेरे संग लागे बांधे जो पीपल पे धागे Okay, I don't think the bevel situation is working either. Let's do the subdiv method only, and I'm going to keep it flat here and here, so we don't need 2 loop cuts for sure, but this one I'm going to GG bring it here. It's kind of like this, and yeah, with face select I can insert this face, so it's kind of like that. We're getting more of a spherical this, and then this one, sorry, with edge select this one, I could GG it out. Maybe we need one more loop cut here, and this loop cut I'm just putting it at the very end. Okay, disturbance number 2. Okay, I'm not really happy with the shape I'm getting here. Maybe it's about insetting these. It's got something to do with insetting that. So let me go back to the place where I didn't make such a mess out of my loops. This is why I'm kind of concerned about loop cut edit modeling. This, let's say, is here. This is towards the end. This face, if I insert it down, or if I take both of them and insert them down, I think I'm getting to where I wanted. But then I was looking kind of like a metro train look here. If I can say it that way. But we are definitely having bad geometry situation. We scale it a little more down, and we can just merge by distance. Oh, that didn't help. But what is this? What is our normal situation here? Face orientation. Everything seems fine actually. And I think from the sides, like here, if I could take this, this is the last thing we're working on for the day. Let's leave it at that. We'll probably fix it at a later point. Now this is a grass bed, but I'll have to do some procedural textures here. So grass bed, and let's see if I start with giving it a dark green color. Oh, this doesn't look like what we need at all. Let me also consider the fact that this could just be one continuous. This looks so bad, by the way. Stop. Just stop that. I don't know why it's looking so disturbing to my eye. Fucking metallic. No way, it's a grass bed. Again, I'm not very happy with how the profile here is. So delete and start again. That's how about we start with a cylinder? You know how if it makes a difference at all. What happened? Icosphere. cylinder. That's the thing with modeling, right? You think when you look at a reference and you're like, oh, I know how to model this. But when you start modeling it, you're like, okay, some very basic things I'm struggling with modeling. I don't need this panel, go away. Just keeps haunting the life out of you. I will go at any moment, you know. SZ, stop it here. Now this gives us a very completely circular profile, which is good. How is X at the top? We are in our local view, so we go to global view. Arey bhai. Look at that. It's definitely not what we want. If I go into the edit mode, what can I do which would be the most non-destructive way of approaching this? Let's see, maybe I can insert this face, or before doing that I can give this a subdiv, and then I insert this. Now I can select this loop and GG slide it to a point here, another loop here, bring it a little towards here, shade smooth. Kind of like tapers that way. How do you get the tapering happening? Yeah, select this and scale it down. Well, that tapers. And maybe the thing with modeling is you can't learn. You can learn by watching tutorials, but you really learn by actually doing things, and so it should be. And at the bottom I would say it is flat, or I would assume it is flat. So how do we make the bottom flat? Let me see. If I can circle select, I'm going to go into isolation with this, and from here I'm going to control click to here, and this with active element, if I select this as the active element, I can SZ it down. So then we are getting a flatter base here. Shade smooth. SZ. Okay. GG. Yes, now I'm getting closer to what we need. we're gonna have a texture on top, so that should take care of things. Hmm. 56 minutes. So let me pause the stream here today. We've made some progress, especially with the light, and then here. One thing that I wanted to discuss though is come to my desktop. I have this product here, which is from a brand called papelwater.in. This is a product for boxed water, and this is part of the full-time job. I'm gonna make a 3D model for this, and then we're gonna be doing 3D product animation for it, which I'm gonna start working on today. And so I will document whatever it is that I've worked on from tomorrow's stream, along with this project that is just like a fun thing, isometric scenes project, because you need something to be doing in the stream, right? It can just be there. So why is it that the chat has also gone away? Because we minimized everything with Windows D. Okay, nice. An entire stream of 1 hour with no one here. That's okay. I don't really want anyone to be here actually. Other than the fact that if somebody is watching and then they are chatting, then I should be missing it. Which is why I'm just keeping it on the side, because it's not right to miss people's chats, especially when they are putting in effort to type. Anyway, thanks so much for being in the khud. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.